The starship Horizon 7 moved silently through the deep, dark space, cutting across the stars like a silver arrow. Inside the ship, the alien crew worked with quiet focus. They belonged to the Volari Union, a serious and disciplined species known for strict rules. One of their rules was very clear: no pets on board any military vessel. Pets caused distraction. Pets caused chaos. Pets had no place in an organized fleet. But today, something felt wrong in the ship's atmosphere. Something subtle, something strange. The crew noticed it but could not explain it. Small things were different. A repair drone was mysteriously knocked over. A system panel showed scratch marks. A sensor detected a tiny heat signature moving where no crew member was supposed to be. Everyone ignored it at first. But the signs grew. Commander Rethak, tall and gray-skinned, walked across the bridge with long steps. His sharp eyes scanned the glowing screens. Everything showed normal readings. Yet he felt tension in the air. His instincts told him a small and unknown presence was hiding inside the ship. He thought it was an intruder. He did not know it was a cat. The trouble began 3 days earlier when Horizon 7 accepted a human engineer named Daniel across the docking bay. Humans were known for creativity, bravery, and unpredictable behavior, but they were also known for bringing strange things along with them. Daniel seemed normal. He carried only a small tool bag and a sealed black container that he kept very close. The crew scanned the container and it showed only basic life support materials. They allowed it inside. No one knew Daniel had hidden something alive inside. Something furry, something with whiskers, something that stared at anyone who opened the box. Daniel's cat, Luna. She was calm and clever, a fluffy explorer with bright golden eyes and a proud tail. Daniel knew humans were allowed to work with the Volari, but pets were banned. Still, he could not leave Luna behind on Earth. She always followed him, and he felt guilty imagining her alone. So he had taken the risk. For the first 2 days, Luna stayed inside Daniel's quarters. She explored quietly. She slept on the warm metal bed. She watched Daniel repair ship systems through a small window. Daniel left her food, water, and toys. Everything seemed under control. Until Luna discovered the sliding door. The door had a motion sensor. When she walked near it, it opened with a soft hiss, and she walked right out. From that moment, the cat became an invisible explorer of Horizon 7. She walked through corridors like she owned every inch of space. She climbed over supply crates. She pounced on flickering lights. She made small sounds that echoed in the metallic halls. The crew heard those sounds, but they could not identify them. They had never encountered a cat before. Some crew members believed a small alien life form had entered the ship. Others believed a malfunctioning robot was making those noises. Nobody expected a human animal. Nobody knew that the small creature was learning the ship at her own pace, discovering secret paths, ventilation shafts, and open control rooms. And then the real crisis began. A warning alarm echoed through the ship. Red lights flashed along the ceiling. The external sensors detected an unidentified object moving fast toward Horizon 7. It was a war drone belonging to the Dravok Empire, an old enemy who attacked without warning. The crew jumped to their positions. Commander Rethak called out orders in his calm but firm voice. Every alien officer moved quickly, closing shields, preparing weapons, and locking down sections. Daniel hurried to the bridge, but Luna reached the bridge first. She had wandered there earlier, following the humming sound of the engines. The bridge was full of glowing screens and blinking buttons, exactly the kind of place Luna liked. When the alarm started, she panicked and leaped straight onto the captain's chair, curling her tail around the control pad. The large viewing window showed the war drone approaching. The crew did not see the cat at first. Their eyes were on the screens. Then one officer suddenly froze and gasped. His alien skin turned pale blue. "Commander, something is in the captain's chair." Commander Rethak turned quickly. His expression tightened. His two hearts almost stopped. A small furry creature sat proudly in the most important seat on the ship. Luna stared at everyone with confident golden eyes, as if she were the commander and they were her crew. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. They had never seen such a creature. It looked soft, but also dangerously calm. Daniel arrived just in time to see the confusion. His face turned red. He ran forward, whispering loudly, "Luna! No, 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 come here!" But Luna did not obey. She simply pressed her paw down on a glowing panel. The ship changed direction. Every officer screamed at once. Daniel almost fainted. Commander Rithak grabbed the side of the console. "What did it just activate?" A tactical officer shouted. "Course adjustment, Commander. The ship is moving into a safer position. Exactly the maneuver we needed." Another officer checked readings. "Impact avoided. The war drone's attack will miss us." The bridge fell silent. The cat had helped them? Commander Rithak stared at the small creature sitting calmly in the chair. Its tail twitched proudly. Its whiskers vibrated as if it understood everything. "This," the commander whispered, "is the intruder?" Daniel swallowed. "She is my pet." "You brought an animal to a military starship," Rithak said slowly. Daniel nodded nervously. "And that animal," Rithak continued, "just saved us." No one said anything for a long moment. Then the alarm changed again. This time it was not a warning, but an urgent call. The enemy drone was sending more units, 3, then 5, then 7, approaching fast. A small war might begin in minutes. The crew looked at the cat. The cat looked at the stars. Commander Rithak exhaled. "This creature must not be removed from the bridge. She is unpredictable. But she seems to act with instinct and speed. And right now, we need every advantage." Luna meowed softly. Daniel stared at his cat and whispered, "Luna, what are you doing?" The next attack wave approached. The lights flickered. The ship needed a commander. And somehow, the soft, furry creature sitting on the captain's chair looked ready. The bridge of Horizon 7 was filled with tension. Bright red warnings blinked across every screen, and the deep hum of the engines grew louder as the ship prepared for combat. Yet the center of attention was not the incoming enemy fleet. It was the cat still sitting calmly on the captain's chair. Luna's tail flicked from side to side as if she were bored, not standing in the middle of a possible war. The alien crew watched her closely, almost afraid to breathe. No one wanted to disturb the strange creature that had already made the ship dodge an unexpected attack. Commander Rithak tried to remain steady. He had survived many battles. He understood tactical risks, but nothing in his training prepared him for a small Earth animal casually operating a warship. He spoke with a low voice. "We must understand how sensitive the console is. One wrong touch could disable shields or fire weapons." Daniel rubbed his forehead, embarrassed and worried. "Luna doesn't try to destroy things. She's just curious, but she does like bright buttons." The moment he said that, Luna raised her paw and gently tapped another glowing tile on the armrest. A loud beep echoed through the bridge. Everyone jumped. An officer shouted, "Commander, weapon systems are adjusting targeting paths. She changed the firing pattern." Daniel's heart nearly stopped. "Luna! No! Don't press anything!" But Commander Rithak raised his hand. "Wait!" The screens updated. The new firing pattern created a defensive scatter grid. It would protect the ship from being surrounded by the enemy drones. Rithak slowly turned to the human. "Is this animal trained?" Daniel shook his head quickly. "No, absolutely not! She's just a normal cat!" Rithak looked back at Luna. "Then how is she doing this?" Daniel had no answer. The ship rattled as the first enemy drones entered attack range. Their sharp metallic bodies shined in the dark space, each carrying powerful plasma weapons. They accelerated toward Horizon 7 like a swarm of angry insects. Enemies within firing distance, an officer yelled. Commander Rithak stood up. Prepare to... Before he could finish, Luna leaned forward and pressed her paw on a different glowing button. The ship fired first. Blue beams shot out from Horizon 7 with perfect timing and precision. The shots hit the nearest drones exactly at their weak points, causing them to explode into bright sparks. The crew stared at the display in shock. That firing sequence was not one of their standard patterns. It was advanced, efficient, almost strategic. The tactical officer looked at his screen in disbelief. Commander, she targeted the drone joints. That is the most effective point of impact. We usually need 3 officers to perform calculations like this. Another officer added. And she did it instantly. Daniel whispered. Okay. Now I'm scared. The crew watched as Luna settled comfortably into the chair and lifted her head with a royal, confident expression. Her golden eyes reflected the glowing stars outside the window. She looked like she belonged there. Rithak took a slow breath. His voice was steady but confused. Human Daniel, is it possible that your species has animals gifted with tactical ability? Daniel shook his head quickly. No. Cats don't help in battles. They just sleep, eat, knock things over, and pretend they own everything. The entire crew turned their eyes toward Luna. That last sentence suddenly made perfect sense. The ship shook as another wave of enemy drones surrounded them. They circled Horizon 7, firing rapidly. The shields flickered under the pressure. Rithak ordered the defensive teams to prepare the secondary shield grid. But before his command even reached the engineers, Luna moved again. She stretched her paw lazily, almost like playing, and tapped another shimmering icon. Multiple shield layers activated at once. Not only the standard defense barrier, Luna had activated a hidden emergency layer that most officers didn't even know existed. It came online with a booming hum, glowing bright blue and white. The overlapping shields stopped the incoming fire with incredible strength. An officer gasped. That shield requires a complex sequence. Only senior officers know how to unlock it. How did she... She pressed it, Daniel said helplessly. She presses everything. Rithak watched the lasers bounce harmlessly off the shields. His voice grew quiet. This is no random behavior. This creature is making choices. Daniel stared at his cat. She's making lucky choices. But even he didn't sound convinced. Outside, the enemy drones regrouped and prepared a synchronized attack. Their formation tightened. A large, heavily armed command drone moved to the front. Its red lights glowed dangerously. The crew fell silent. Everyone knew what that meant. The command drone was much stronger than the others and had the firepower to break through most shields. Commander Rithak straightened his posture. His voice grew strict. We must prepare for full impact. All officers? He paused. Luna slowly stood up. She walked in tight circles on the captain's chair, stepping on multiple glowing buttons as she moved. The bridge fell into panic. No! Stop her! Daniel, grab her. Commander, the ship's systems are changing rapidly. Daniel lunged forward, but Luna settled down before he could reach her. The control panel updated instantly. The ship changed course again, but this time, it wasn't random. Horizon 7 moved into a narrow slice of space between 2 enemy drones. It was a tiny window, too small for a normal ship to use safely. Yet Luna had chosen it. The ship slid through the gap perfectly. The officer monitoring sensors shouted, "That position gives us the perfect shot at the command drone!" Commander Rithak clenched his jaw. He stared at the small creature sitting proudly in the chair. "Fire!" he said. The ship launched a focused plasma beam directly at the command drone. It struck the weak point under its central core. A huge explosion lit up space like a white-blue starburst. The entire enemy formation broke apart. The remaining drones scattered in confusion, retreating without coordination. Some collided with each other, exploding. Others fled into deep space, unable to continue the attack. Silence filled the bridge. Then, slowly, the crew began to breathe again. Luna lifted her head proudly, her golden eyes glowing with reflected starlight. She gently placed her paw on the chair's armrest as if declaring victory. Daniel whispered, She saved the entire ship." Commander Rithak exhaled. It appears she did. The crew looked at each other. They had seen many strange things in the universe, but none were stranger than a small Earth creature defending a starship better than trained officers. Daniel reached forward to pick Luna up, but Rithak raised his hand. "Leave her." Daniel froze. "What?" Rithak's voice was firm. "For now, she stays where she is." Luna blinked slowly like a queen approving a decision. Daniel swallowed hard. "Commander, are you saying she's in charge?" Rithak didn't answer immediately. He looked at the screens, at the crew, at the destroyed enemy fleet, and finally at the cat who had guided them through danger. His voice was steady. "At this moment, she is the most effective being in this room." Luna sat taller. Daniel whispered, "Oh no, she's going to love this." The bridge of Horizon 7 slowly returned to calm, but the atmosphere felt different now. Every officer watched Luna with a strange respect, almost fear. She sat proudly on the captain's chair, her fluffy tail wrapped neatly around her paws. Her golden eyes scanned the screens as if she understood everything displayed there. Daniel stood nearby, still unsure what to do. He had brought Luna onto the ship in secret. Now she was acting like the commander of a military vessel. He whispered softly, "Luna, you don't even know what you're doing, right?" But Luna simply blinked at him, slow and confident, like she was the most intelligent being aboard. Commander Rithak walked closer to Daniel. His tall, gray form cast a long shadow over the human. "Your animal has shown extraordinary behavior," he said. "We cannot ignore this. If she helped us fight, we must understand how she did it." Daniel shook his head helplessly. "She's just a cat. She doesn't think like us. She doesn't plan strategies. She only reacts." Rithak's deep voice lowered. "Then why do her reactions align with perfect tactical patterns?" Daniel had no answer. He looked again at his pet, the small creature he used to scold for knocking cups off tables. Now she was controlling starship systems. Before anyone could speak again, the ship's communication console lit up. A holographic message flickered into view. It was from the Valari High Command. A stern voice filled the bridge. "Horizon 7. We detected enemy activity near your sector. Report your status." Commander Rithak straightened. "We survived the attack, High Command." "Survived?" the hologram repeated. "Your ship shows unusual battle movements. They do not match your registered officer inputs. Who is controlling your tactical systems?" The bridge grew silent. Everyone slowly turned toward Luna. She sat proudly, ears perked up, as if listening to the conversation. Rithak cleared his throat. "There was interference." High Command's tone grew sharp. "Explain." Daniel stepped forward quickly before Rithak could continue. "It was me. I changed the settings. Sorry. I didn't think it would show on the logs." The entire crew stared at him in shock. Daniel felt their confusion, but he knew he couldn't tell High Command the truth. If they discovered Luna was on board, they might demand her removal, or worse. The hologram flickered. "We will review your logs later. For now, stand by. A large anomaly has appeared near your location. It may be connected to the Dravok attack." The screen shut off. Commander Rithak slowly turned to Daniel. His expression was unreadable. "You lied to the High Command." Daniel nodded nervously. "I had to. They would remove her. They would never believe this." Rithak's gaze softened, but only a little. "This situation grows more complicated. The enemy attack may not be random, and your animal may be linked to these events." Before Daniel could ask how, the sensor officer interrupted. "Commander, the anomaly High Command mentioned. It's forming right outside our scanning perimeter." A deep rumble echoed through the ship, like a distant thunder shaking metal walls. The lights flickered. The view screen widened to reveal a swirling distortion forming in the dark space ahead. It twisted like a black hole, but not exactly. It pulsed with strange green and purple energy. The science officer stepped back in fear. I have never seen anything like this." Rithak's voice grew tense. "Is it a weapon?" "Unknown," the officer replied. "But it is growing." Luna stood up on the captain's chair, her fur rising slightly as she stared at the swirling anomaly. She didn't hiss. She didn't panic. She watched it with intense focus, as if something in her instincts recognized danger. Daniel whispered, "Luna, what do you see?" The cat leaned forward and pressed her paw onto the control panel again. "Stop her!" several officers shouted. But before anyone could reach her, she activated a scan sequence. The ship's sensors projected deep frequencies toward the anomaly, revealing its internal structure. Strange shapes appeared inside, shadows moving, shifting, swirling. It looked like something was trying to break through. Rithak stared at the image. "This is no natural phenomenon. Something is coming." The tactical officer's voice shook. "Commander, multiple heat signatures inside the anomaly. Large ones." Daniel felt the hair on his arms rise. "Is it Dravok ships?" "No," the officer whispered. "It's something bigger." Suddenly, alarms blared. A high-pitched warning echoed across the bridge. "Energy spike!" another officer shouted. "The anomaly is opening! Something is emerging!" The bridge filled with bright light as the swirling distortion stretched open like a gigantic eye. From inside, a massive shadow moved forward, a dark, armored shape larger than Horizon 7 itself. Its surface glowed with burning red markings. Its wings spread out like blades of molten metal. A massive alien warship. Nothing like the Dravok drones, nothing like anything the Volari Union had seen before. The science officer gasped. "Commander, that ship is not in our database. It belongs to no known species." Rithak's voice turned low and serious. "We may be facing a new enemy." The giant ship released a pulse of energy that rippled across space. Horizon 7 rocked violently. Consoles sparked. Officers fell to the floor. Daniel grabbed a rail to keep himself steady. But Luna remained on the captain's chair, unmoved, staring at the enemy ship like a predator watching another predator. Rithak pushed himself up. "Shields at maximum! Prepare emergency countermeasures!" The tactical officer shouted. "Shields are rising, but that last pulse damaged our layers!" Another alarm blared. Horizon 7's lights flickered again. Daniel felt fear rising. "Commander, we can't fight something that big. We need to send a message to High Command." He stopped speaking when Luna moved again. The small cat stepped directly onto the main command pad. Daniel shouted, "Luna, no!" But it was too late. She pressed a sequence of buttons so fast and precise it looked impossible. A surge of energy flowed through the bridge. Horizon 7's engines lit up with a bright blue glow. The ship rotated into a new combat position, one no Volari officer had ever used. "Commander!" the tactical officer cried. "The ship's position! It gives us a tactical lock on the enemy's energy core!" Rithak stared at Luna. "How can she know this?" Daniel whispered. She just acts." But even he didn't believe those words anymore. Outside, the giant alien ship charged its main weapon, glowing with deadly red energy. Inside, a small cat sat fearlessly on a captain's chair, preparing the Horizon 7 for its biggest battle. And the crew realized something they were scared to admit. Luna wasn't guessing. She was choosing. And she might be the only one who could keep them alive. The bridge was shaking as the massive alien warship charged its weapon. Bright red lines grew across its armored surface like veins filled with fire. Every officer on Horizon 7 felt the rising pressure, their chests tight with fear. This enemy was nothing like the Dravok. It was bigger, stronger, and completely unknown. Yet in the captain's chair, Luna sat calm and focused, her fur glowing softly in the blue lights of the bridge. Daniel watched her, heart pounding. "Luna, please, don't press the wrong button," he whispered, even though he knew she wasn't listening. She never listened at home either. Commander Rythak stood tall, though worry showed in his eyes. "We face a threat beyond our understanding, and your animal continues to control our systems." He looked at Daniel. "This is not normal." Daniel swallowed hard. "Nothing about this day is normal." The tactical officer shouted, "Commander, the enemy ship is preparing to fire. Their energy output is rising rapidly." Another officer added, "Our shields cannot take that level of impact." The crew braced for the attack, but Luna suddenly lifted her paw and tapped a glowing symbol. The entire bridge went silent as the ship's systems shifted into a mode no one recognized. The tactical officer's eyes widened. "Commander, she activated a maneuver from the old Valari archives. This technique is ancient. Only a few captains ever used it." Rythak frowned. "Explain." "It uses a burst of engine energy to create a shield of ionized particles. It can reflect a portion of incoming fire, but only if timed perfectly." Daniel stared. "Reflect? You mean push the energy back at them?" The officer nodded. "Yes, but the timing must be exact. A fraction of a second off, and we'll be destroyed." Luna stared at the giant warship on the screen as if calculating something. Her tail twitched once, then she pressed another button. A deep hum filled the bridge. The engines brightened like a blue star awakening. Rythak inhaled slowly. "She is committing us to this maneuver." Daniel whispered, "Luna, please be right." The enemy ship's weapon fired. A monstrous beam of red energy tore across space like a burning storm. It hit Horizon 7's shields with a deafening blast. The ship shook violently. Panels sparked. Officers clung to their stations. Some fell to the floor as the bridge rattled. Then something incredible happened. The ionized shield burst forward at the exact moment of impact. The red beam split into two curved streams and ricocheted backward. The redirected energy struck the giant alien ship across its left wing, ripping open metal and sending debris flying into the void. A stunned silence filled the bridge. Daniel gasped, She did it!" The tactical officer's voice shook. "That maneuver has not been used for hundreds of years. How did she know the exact timing?" Rythak stared at the cat. "This creature sees something we cannot." A deep vibration suddenly rumbled through the enemy ship. Its damaged wing crackled with sparks and something beneath the metal began to pulse. Daniel frowned. "What's happening to it?" The science officer analyzed the readings. "The enemy ship is powering up again, but the signature is different. It appears to be preparing some sort of summoning pulse." "Summoning?" Daniel asked. "You mean calling for help?" "Not help," the officer said grimly. "Reinforcements." Before the sentence finished, the space around Horizon 7 began to distort again. 3 smaller ships slipped out of the swirling anomaly, their sharp edges glowing with the same red markings as the larger one. Rythak clenched his jaw. "We are being surrounded." The bridge filled with urgent shouting. Officers scrambled to update tactical maps. The enemy ships moved like predators closing in on prey. Daniel stepped forward. "Commander, we need backup. We need to call High Command now." Before Rythak could respond, Luna suddenly stood up tall on the captain's chair. Her ears pushed forward, her eyes narrowed, and she pressed her paw on another command tile. This time, she opened a channel. Not to High Command, to the enemy. A static-filled voice crackled through the speakers, deep and distorted. The alien words were harsh and metallic, like 2 machines grinding together. The crew didn't understand the language, but the tone was unmistakable, threatening. The science officer quickly connected a translation filter. "Commander, they are demanding our surrender." Rithak stiffened. "We will not surrender." The alien voice continued, growing sharper. Another wave of red energy pulsed from their ship, and their weapons began to charge again. Daniel whispered, "Luna, what now?" The cat leaned forward and pressed a series of buttons so fast the crew barely saw it. A tactical map opened, showing all enemy ships, the anomaly, and Horizon 7's position. Luna stepped on one button, and the ship moved again. Horizon 7 shifted into a path that wove between the enemy vessels like a needle threading through cloth. It was a risky maneuver. One mistake could lead to disaster. The engines roared. The ship moved with impossible precision. The tactical officer's voice trembled. "Commander, her chosen path will place us directly behind the smaller enemy ships. From that position, we can hit their power cores." Rithak narrowed his eyes. "A perfect ambush." The crew watched in awe as the starship glided into position like it was dancing through war. Daniel whispered, "This is insane. She's planning a full attack." The smaller ships fired at Horizon 7, but Luna was already reacting. She pressed the left panel and the ship spun into a defensive roll. Then she activated a counterbeam that hit one of the enemy ships directly in the engine. The small vessel exploded instantly. Rithak stared. Her reactions are faster than any trained pilot. The second enemy ship fired, but Luna quickly activated a shield burst that absorbed the attack and sent the force back like a shockwave. The enemy ship spun out of control, crashing into the third ship. The bridge fell silent again. 3 enemy ships down, 1 massive warship remaining. Daniel whispered, "Luna, how are you doing this?" Luna didn't look at him. She stared at the giant alien vessel still pulsing with red light. Her fur stood up slightly, and a low rumbling sound came from her chest. It wasn't a purr, it was something deeper, something like a warning. The giant ship began to gather energy again, charging for a devastating attack. The crew braced themselves. Rithak looked at the cat in the captain's chair. "This creature isn't just reacting," he said softly. "She is thinking." Daniel felt chills up his spine. Thinking. Or remembering. Outside, the space around the giant warship twisted violently. The anomaly pulsed like a beating heart. The true battle had only begun. The space outside Horizon 7 twisted like a storm made of darkness and light. The giant alien warship continued to charge its massive weapon, glowing brighter with every passing second. The swirling anomaly behind it expanded like a living portal, pulling in energy from the void. The alien vessel grew stronger, louder, and more threatening. Every officer on Horizon 7 felt a rising fear in their chest. Luna did not. She sat confidently on the captain's chair, tail curled neatly, eyes locked on the enemy ship. The glow from the red energy reflected in her golden eyes, making her look strangely powerful. Daniel watched her closely. "Luna, please, whatever you're thinking, don't get us all killed," he whispered. She didn't even blink. Commander Rithak was studying the console. "Her choices are too precise, too controlled. No normal creature should understand these commands." Daniel shook his head. "She doesn't understand the commands. She just pushes random buttons that somehow work." Rithak's eyes narrowed. "No, not random. She senses something." The science officer turned from his screen. "Commander, I found something strange in the readings." Rithak stepped closer. "Explain." The officer showed the data. "Every time the cat touches the controls, the sensors around the anomaly detect a small resonance, a frequency." Daniel frowned. "A frequency? From Luna?" "Yes. Something inside her reacts to the anomaly." Daniel felt a cold shiver. "She's just a cat. How can she react to a space anomaly?" The officer spoke carefully. "Unless she is not just reacting, but responding. The ship shook as another wave of energy rippled from the anomaly. Alarms screamed across the bridge. The big alien warship was almost ready to fire again. Red lightning crawled across its wings. Rethak shouted, "Shields at maximum! Prepare all defenses!" The tactical officer shook his head. "Commander, our shields are still weakened. We can't take another direct hit." Daniel grabbed the railing. "Then we need to dodge." "We don't have the speed," the officer replied. Before fear could take control, Luna stood up. Everyone froze. The cat slowly raised her paw and pressed her foot on a glowing symbol near the main thrusters. The ship vibrated as energy flowed into the engines. The engine officer gasped. "Commander, she's rerouting power from the auxiliary battery into the warp coils." Rethak's eyes widened. "That is impossible. Only senior engineers know that sequence." Daniel whispered, "She's not supposed to know anything." The engines brightened like a star bursting to life. Horizon 7 surged forward with a force no one expected. It shot across space just as the alien warship fired its gigantic beam. The red beam sliced through the space where Horizon 7 had been only seconds earlier. The bridge erupted in gasps. Daniel exhaled in relief. "She saved us again!" But the danger wasn't over. The alien warship turned, trying to track Horizon 7. Its massive wings spread, absorbing energy through the swirling portal behind it. The anomaly pulsed harder, growing brighter and more chaotic. It was clear the ship wasn't acting alone. The anomaly itself was feeding it. The science officer's voice trembled. "Commander, the anomaly is not just a portal. It is a power source." Rethak's expression darkened. "And the enemy ship is drawing strength from it." The tactical officer looked pale. "Commander, if that ship fully charges with the anomaly's power, it could destroy an entire fleet, maybe even a planet." Daniel felt sick. "We can't let it fire again." Luna turned her head sharply toward the anomaly, ears twitching. She took a quiet step forward on the chair, watching the swirling energy as if she recognized something. Her fur lifted slightly, and her tail swayed in a slow, strange rhythm. Daniel stepped closer. "Luna, what is it? What do you feel?" The cat leaned down and pressed her paw on a new panel. A holographic map opened in front of the crew. It showed Horizon 7, the enemy ship, and the anomaly. But Luna zoomed the map into the anomaly's center. The officers stared. Inside the swirling vortex, hundreds, maybe thousands, of shapes moved. Rethak whispered, "Reinforcements." "No," the science officer said softly. "Commander, those are not ships." Daniel squinted at the blurry shapes. "Then what are they?" The officer swallowed. "Life forms, large ones, waiting." Daniel felt the blood drain from his face. "We can't fight that." The tactical officer stepped back. "If the anomaly opens fully, an entire army will come through." Rethak stepped closer, his voice deep and firm. "Then we must stop the anomaly before it opens." Daniel looked helpless. "But how? That ship is guarding it." Rethak turned to the cat. "Perhaps the creature knows." Luna looked up at him calmly. Then she pressed another command. The ship changed course, straight toward the anomaly. The entire bridge exploded in panic. "Commander, she's sending us into the vortex. We'll be torn apart." "Stop the engines." Daniel rushed toward the chair. "Luna!" But Rethak lifted his hand. "Wait!" Daniel froze. "Commander, are you serious? She's going to kill us." Rethak's voice was calm. "She has not failed us once. Every action she has taken has protected us, or positioned us for victory." Daniel stared at him. "You trust her more than your own crew?" Rethak looked at the cat. "Right now." "Yes." The crew watched as Horizon 7 sped toward the swirling anomaly. The lights of the vortex flashed violently against the windows. The gravitational pull dragged at the ship, threatening to tear it apart. The engine officer shouted, "Hull pressure rising! We cannot maintain this course much longer!" Luna pressed her paw on another glowing panel. The ship's shields reshaped themselves, curving around Horizon 7 in a tighter, stronger formation. A thin silver light spread across the hull like armor. The science officer gasped. "She created a counter-gravitational bubble using the anomaly's own energy," Daniel whispered. "How does she know this?" Rithak stared at the brilliant silver glow surrounding the ship. "This creature is not acting on accident. She is following instinct or memory." They were seconds from the anomaly. The giant alien warship noticed the maneuver and began charging its main gun again, aiming directly at Horizon 7. Daniel felt his heart stop. "She's leading us into a trap." But Luna pressed one final button. The ship's engines roared. Horizon 7 vanished into the swirling anomaly. The alien beam fired too late. The warship missed. The bridge lights flickered as the ship was swallowed by the vortex. And for the first time since the battle began, Luna crouched low. Her tail went stiff. Her ears flattened, as if she finally sensed something even she was afraid of. The inside of the anomaly felt like falling into a storm made of light and darkness. Horizon 7 spun through swirling colors, the engines howling as if the ship were fighting against the universe itself. The bridge lights flickered. Officers held tightly to their stations. Daniel felt his stomach twist as the screens showed shapes moving through the vortex. Giant shadows drifting like creatures swimming in deep water. Luna crouched low on the captain's chair, her fur standing on end. For the first time since the battle began, she looked unsure. Her golden eyes stayed fixed on the twisting shapes inside the anomaly. Commander Rithak gripped the railing. "Stabilize the ship. Keep shields up." The crew struggled to follow orders. The vortex pulled, pushed, twisted. It felt like space itself was alive and angry. Daniel reached Luna and gently placed his hand on her back. "It's okay, girl. Please don't let us down now." Luna did not look away from the vortex. She slowly stood up, balancing herself as the ship shook. Then she pressed her paw onto a control tile, glowing faint purple, something the crew had never seen before. The science officer gasped. "Commander?" She activated an ancient Valari frequency. It's a calming signal." Rithak frowned. "Calming? For what?" The officer whispered, "For whatever lives inside this anomaly." The ship suddenly stopped shaking. The twisting shapes slowed. The lights softened. Daniel felt pressure lift from his chest, as if the anomaly itself had stopped crushing them. The shadows drifted away from the ship, moving with slow, peaceful motions. Rithak spoke quietly, awe in his voice. "The creatures here were reacting to the anomaly's energy. They thought we were danger. And your cat communicated with them." Daniel stared at Luna. "Luna, what are you?" Before anyone could begin to understand, the ship's sensors detected something at the center of the vortex. A bright core, like a heart of pure energy, pulsed rhythmically. The science officer raised his voice. "Commander, that core is the source powering the enemy warship. If we disable it, the portal will collapse." Rithak nodded slowly. "We must destroy it." Daniel looked uncertain. "Can we? Won't that kill whatever lives here?" The officer studied the readings. "No, the creatures are not part of the core. The core is artificial. Someone built this." Rithak's eyes hardened. "Then our enemy created a weapon disguised as a portal." The ship shook again as the enemy warship outside the anomaly fired blindly into the vortex, trying to follow Horizon 7. Daniel grabbed the console. "They're trying to stop us," Rithak shouted. "All weapons on the core. Prepare to fire." But Luna stepped forward again. She pressed her paw on the targeting panel. A new firing pattern appeared. Complex, smooth, perfect. The tactical officer stared. "Commander, she just optimized our power output. She found the exact weak point of the core." Luna pressed one final command. Horizon 7 fired. A narrow, bright beam shot straight into the core. The entire vortex lit up in a blinding flash. The energy heart cracked, shattered, and disappeared in a burst of white light. The anomaly collapsed instantly. Horizon 7 was thrown back into normal space with a violent jolt. Officers fell, consoles sparked, alarms blared. Daniel hit the floor and rolled to shield Luna from falling debris. When the shaking stopped, the screens slowly came back online. The giant alien warship outside drifted helplessly. Its glowing red lights faded. Its wings cracked and flickered. Without the anomaly's power, it grew weak. The tactical officer reported, "Commander, the enemy ship is disabled. They have no energy to fire. They can't move." Rethak nodded. "Keep shields up. Prepare to send a message to High Command." Daniel gently picked up Luna and held her close. She was tired but calm. Her golden eyes blinked slowly, as if satisfied with her actions. The crew watched the disabled enemy ship floating alone in the empty space. The science officer said quietly, "If the anomaly had opened fully, the creatures inside would have been forced into our space. They would have died. The enemy ship was using them." Rethak looked at Luna with a new understanding. She sensed it. She understood the danger before any of us. Daniel scratched behind Luna's ears. Maybe she felt the energy. Cats are strange like that, always sensing things we can't. Rithak lowered his head respectfully. "Your cat saved not just us, but the lives of countless beings inside the anomaly." Luna purred softly, leaning into Daniel's hand. Soon, High Command responded to Horizon 7's report. Their hologram appeared on the bridge, eyes wide in shock as they learned what happened. Rethak spoke confidently. "Commander Rethak, reporting. We encountered an unknown enemy species. We destroyed the anomaly they used for power, and we survived because of a human animal." High Command looked confused. "A human? What?" Rithak turned the camera toward Luna, still sitting on his chair. The officers in the hologram stared in disbelief. Daniel whispered, "Please don't punish her. Or me." But High Command did something unexpected. Their expressions softened. Finally, the main officer said, "This creature has proven herself an asset. She will not be removed. She is to be recognized as a tactical companion." Daniel blinked. "A what?" Rithak translated. "They are giving her a position. She is now officially part of the crew." Daniel laughed nervously. "Great. She outranks me now." Luna jumped back onto the captain's chair and curled up proudly. The crew smiled. Rithak nodded. "She is the first of her kind, a small creature with a big instinct and a bigger heart." Daniel held her gently. "Luna, you're a hero." Outside the window, the stars shone quietly. The enemy warship floated powerless, and the galaxy grew calm again. Luna stretched on the chair and closed her eyes, finally ready to rest. The ship's future was safe, and the legend began, a cat who commanded a starship.